Welcome to Wake Up to Revelation, where we're going through the book of Revelation, verse by verse, because this book of Revelation is the revelation of Jesus Christ. And if you're a follower, more specifically, if you're a servant of Jesus Christ, this is literally written to you. It was, according to Revelation 1:1, given to Jesus to give to his servants so we will know what's about to take place. And it's incredibly important we know what's about to take place because there's so many action steps in this book. There's things we need to be doing. But where we are in this book is John is on the island of Patmos, and he is in the Spirit on the Lord's day, and he hears a voice as of a trumpet, and he turns around and he sees Jesus. And there's a lot of descriptions of Jesus in here, but like it says in Galatians, every word matters, and it's important you don't go, well, he was just wearing this and he looked like that. Like, why did he look this way? So we're going to kind of focus on that a bit today, and we're going to pick it up right there, Revelation 1, starting verse 12. Then I turned to see the voice that spoke with me, and having turned, I saw 7 golden lampstands. And in the midst of the 7 lampstands, one like the Son of Man, clothed with a garment down to his feet, and girded about the chest with a golden band. His head and his hair were white, like wool, as white as snow, and his eyes were a flame of fire. His feet were like fine brass, as if refined in a furnace, and his voice is the sound of many waters. All right, I'm going to pause there for a second. We're going to focus on verse 13, where it says, and in the midst of the 7 lampstands, one like the Son of Man, clothed with a garment down to his feet and girded about the chest with a golden band. And really kind of understand, well, what is he wearing and why is he wearing this? There's deep purpose in this. Now, I want to kind of start by saying, so we've kind of been given a description of what he's wearing. I want to jump, and this will all kind of pull together at the end of this episode, but I want to jump to when Jesus shows up to reclaim his kingdom. Revelation 19, verse 13. He was clothed with a robe dipped in blood, and his name is called the Word of God. Now, this is a different thing. Like it may be the same robe, but this one is dipped in blood. John would have mentioned that. I'm certain of it. Jesus literally just told him, write in a book what you see. So he would have mentioned that. So these are 2 different moments in time. And again, we'll kind of pull all that together. But why is he clothed with this robe? And what's up with the golden band and that sort of thing? So we're going to go to, Daniel. There's this moment in time where Daniel sees one like the Son of Man. So we're going to go to Daniel 7, starting in verse 9. I watched till thrones were put in place, and the Ancient of Days was seated. His garment was white as snow, and the hair on his head was like pure wool. His throne was a fiery flame, its wheels a burning. We'll skip to 13. I was watching in the night vision, and behold, one like the Son of Man coming with the clouds of heaven. He came to the Ancient of Days, and they brought him near before him. Then to him was given dominion and glory and a kingdom. Then all peoples, nations, and languages should serve him. His dominion is an everlasting dominion, which shall not pass away, and his kingdom is the one which shall not be destroyed. So here what Daniel is saying is he is a king. He is coming to establish a kingdom. But it's important that we kind of go back to something we talked about in an earlier episode. He is a king, but he's of the order of Melchizedek. And Melchizedek, as you'll see in Genesis and in Hebrews, was a king and a priest of Salem, which is now modern-day Jerusalem. So he is the king and the priest. And this is Daniel saying this is his kingdom. This is who he is. But if we go back to Revelation 19, he's not just a king and a priest. He's more than that. Because in Revelation 19:11, it says, Then I saw heaven open, and behold, a white horse, and he who sat on was called Faithful and True, and in righteousness he judges and makes war. So he's also a judge. So in this moment, who Jesus is he is king, he is priest, and he is judge. And this is his garment. This is his garment. Now, it doesn't say that it's white in Revelation, but it does say that in Daniel. I don't want to make assumptions that this one is white, but white typically signifies purity, as does gold, pure refined gold. Because a strange thing that we see, if we look at the moment, because Jesus says, write to these churches, write in this book to the church. And then he has some criticism for the churches, and in future episodes we'll talk about those, of course. But in Revelation 3:18, he's talking to the church in Laodicea, and it says this in 18. I counsel you to buy from me gold refined in the fire, that you may be rich, and white garments, that you may be clothed, that the shame of your nakedness may not be revealed. So it's a purity thing. There's this, when sin and death entered the world with Adam and Eve, the very first thing that happened was their eyes were open and they saw that they were naked. They saw their sin, and they hid themselves with garments. And what Jesus is in this moment is he's, number one, he's in his glorified body. He's in his glorified body, and we know that to be so. And we'll talk about that more in the next episode. So we'll go to Matthew 17, starting verse 1. Now, after 6 days, Jesus took Peter, James, and John, his brother, brought them up on a high mountain by themselves, and was transfigured before them. His face shone like the sun, and his clothes became as white as the light. And what took place with Jesus in that moment was our bodies are filled with sin and death. And because of that, we decay, we corrode, and we die. And what just took place with Jesus is he was transfigured. He was changed into his glorified body, the body that he was always meant to have, because he became human, which meant death. Sin never entered him, but death definitely took him. He gave up to death. He submitted to death, because that's why he was there, so to say. But it still consumed him. In this moment, in Matthew, he's transfigured into his glorified body, the same body that we will receive when we are taken up and changed. When, just like Paul says, when this in 1 Corinthians, our corruption must put on incorruption. Our mortality must put on immortality. And then we are changed. And just like Jesus said in Revelation, must put on white garments that you may be clothed, that the shame of your nakedness may not be revealed. It's taking away that sin and becoming pure. And when you take sin and death out of the world, we all would be shining like white, pure white. This is it's a symbol of purity. It's a symbol of who Jesus Christ is. So when he is clothed in this moment in John, he is king, he is priest, he is judge, and he is pure. Then I turned to see the voice that spoke with me, and having turned, I saw 7 golden lampstands. In the midst of the 7 lampstands, one like the Son of Man, clothed with a garment down to his feet, and girded about the chest with a golden band. All right, well, hey, thanks for joining us. We're going to talk about white hair and all that next time. What's that? Very similar, but different. So thanks again for joining us. This is fascinating for me. Anytime that I'm digging to try to kind of cross-reference through the Word of God, my eyes are always open, and I pray yours are as well. So thanks for joining us.